Hey everyone, so this is an update on my desktop system. If you follow my channel for a while, you know that I've been talking about building a new system. And this one is based on Ivy Bridge. And my purposes are mainly media work, YouTube video processing, photography. I have a lot of intensive photo applications and obviously video applications, and then some gaming. That's what my primary use is. And thirdly, probably a media station for my house, centralized repository of I guess transactional or primary use data, and you know I have backup storage elsewhere, but this is a centralized media server to some extent. All right, so you see the Corsair 600T case, LG Blu-ray drive, which I barely use at all, and so standard case setup. They have a newer one with I guess a mesh side. It's nice in that both sides come off of this thing, left and right, if you need to work on it, which is actually going to save me for a project that I have coming up. You can see the side case come off really easy here. I'm not a crazy modder or anything like that with these. I just want them to work and require minimal support. So I had to rebuild a lot of this stuff. I had to get a new motherboard for the CPU. Obviously got the new CPU because I got the new type of CPU and the motherboard. I had to get new RAM. So basically all I'm doing is reusing my power supply, which is a 700 watt Coolermaster version. I have a Windows Media TV tuner plugged in here that I'm using that was reused, and then my EVGA GTX 590 card, which I'm reusing. And I had a lot of drives that were in here, moved some things around, but still have a lot of drives. And the new one is this little tiny one down here. I got a Samsung SSD drive, and that's now my boot drive. And what else can I tell you? So it is the Ivy Bridge system that I got here, and the CPU. It's an i7 3770K, and it's running at this is the top of the line Ivy Bridge version. 3.5 gigahertz is the minimum speed. Basically, you can overclock it. It has turbo boost. The turbo boost averages about 3.7 gigahertz without overclocking. What I'm finding, if you know anything about the Ivy Bridge and whatnot, you already know that the temperatures on these things is much more hot than previous CPUs. So I'm actually getting warning notifications that my CPU is running too hot, while Intel says it's normal for the Ivy Bridge to run this this hot. And actually, I do kind of believe them that they wouldn't have released this kind of product that was just going to have warning errors all the time. But anyways, so I think I need to have a better cooling mechanism anyways, despite which I do believe Intel that it's designed to run at a higher temperature. I've not had, other than the warning messages, I've not had any noticeable decrease in performance. I did have one blue screen, which is a bit odd, but not any sense. I'm still going through all the software that came with the motherboard and trying out that new functionality, so that could have resulted from that. But I am, if you can see here, I am using the stock cooler that came with Ivy Bridge. And I can feel the heat rolling off of it from there. I got the standard Corsair case fans that came with it, one running back here. Obviously, there's a top one you probably can't see, and there's a side one, front one rather, up here. So I think I'm going to be, I've already ordered a new cooler, and it's ridiculous how big those coolers are. The air coolers that are non-stock from Intel, they're just gigantic for the most part. So we'll see how that goes. I kind of like the openness of my case. And what I didn't mention is I got basically, hard to see here, but Gskill RAM, 32 gigabytes of RAM, because my photo applications use the crap out of the RAM, they'll use as much of it as possible. So far so good. It's almost I don't know, it's almost like a server line of parts I got in here because my needs. So anyways, I got the Asus motherboard, the PAZ77-V Deluxe, and there's a lot of videos out there about it already. It's the LGA 1155 socket. The key thing is it's using the Z77 chipset, which is new to Ivy Bridge, or Ivy Bridge takes the most advantage, or uses it the best rather. Why Ivy Bridge rather than I guess Sandy Bridge that was out? One, I needed to do a brand new build anyways, so Ivy Bridge is what I was waiting for. The other thing is that it's about 10 to 20% faster than Sandy Bridge based on some of the reviews out there. But the key thing is it's bundling in video processing abilities. It has its own built-in GPU to the CPU chip, which means you can plug in. I don't have to have this EVGA card here. Now, it's the delivered GPU may not help me with some. It won't work as well on some games like Call of Duty or whatever, or ones that push it even more. But you have that ability to use it if you don't have a video card. And the GPU itself will, what I've read, it'll process 3 streams of 4K video, which is huge. It also encodes, I don't know if that's the right word, but it not necessarily watching, but let's say you're burning or re-encoding. Yeah, probably confusing everyone. If you want to encode some video, it's going to do it faster because it's taking some of that processing to the GPU rather than the CPU. Depending on the program you use, I used Handbrake the other day and to take some of my own video files and encode them. It churned through them in an amazing amount of time, but it drastically increased the temperature in here, but it did roll through those files very quickly. So pretty impressed with that part. What else? I like it that the motherboard has a lot of 6 gigabyte SATA ports, so it'll speed up my hard drives. I've already noticed that. Of course, the SSD, probably the SSD and the memory are the ones that I'm probably seeing the most immediate change. It boots up quickly, obviously. Because I have the other hard drives in here, even though I have the programs all on the SSD, the program executables and whatnot on that, you still have somewhat of a startup process that occurs because of these other drives spinning up and checking and whatnot. So if I had all those removed, I'm sure it'd be a little faster, but I need those. They're more for data intensive files, of course. So that's the rebuild. So far, so good. Going to install a new cooler, air cooler, not water cooler. Read a lot about water coolers, scared about those. So, I'm playing Modern Warfare a little bit. I think it's sped up some things. It doesn't necessarily make me a better player. So, it's kind of interesting. But I'll show you some specs real fast on screen. And that's kind of what we're running now. This is the Specky tool. I have no affiliation with it. This is being shown for only training and demonstration purposes only. Windows 7, you can see 3.5 gigahertz. It's kind of idling with the case door open at 47 degrees Celsius. 22 nanometer technology, 32 gigabytes. Got my Asus motherboard, blah blah blah, all these other things that I use. So far so good, folks. Let me know if you have any questions.